Hey, I'm Calvin Carter, SEO Strategist at Inflow. Today we're taking a look at Green Mountain Grills. We're going to take a look at their SEO, see what they're doing right, and we're going to look at some opportunities for improvement. Go hit that like button and subscribe for more e-commerce related content. Let's jump into it. So let's take a look at the site here. So the homepage, this is a really nice looking site. Has a lot of bold text, big headings, so that's good. Taking a look at SEO plugin we have. Looks like they have a good title. It's a little long. There's some kind of odd characters here, so I'm not sure what that is exactly, but typically we do the brand, the pipe or a hyphen, and then our main keywords for the homepage. The description looks good. There's a canonical, self-referencing canonical, so that all looks good. Looks like there's a lot of headings here. There's 13 H1s, which is somewhat of a missed opportunity. That main H1 could be used for branding, and then these other headings could be used as H2s or even just larger text. Let's go ahead and take a look at if there's any schema on this homepage. So looking at the schema, it looks like they have web page schema, which isn't bad, but typically you want this to be organization schema. So there is some organization schema included here, but it's not really showing correctly as organizational schema. If we look here, it looks like it's being generated by Yoast. So that could be the issue there. We would want to switch that to organization schema. Let's take a look at a category page. So this category page looks good. There's some content there. Looks like it has all of these grills that are related to this category, which is good. And then there's even some content about these grills. What I do see is when going from the category to the product, the URL string changes. Typically, we just want that to somewhat build onto the existing URL structure. So instead of it going from Grills Prime to the product name, it's going to products/grills/prime/product. As far as crawling and indexing, that can play a role in search engines determining your site structure. That also can be more helpful for users when you actually just build on the existing URL structure. It just makes things a lot easier. Let's take a look at a product page. So this product page looks good. There's good information here. It's really good that the technical specs are listed here in a table, which is really helpful for users and for search engines. Looks like the title and description could be optimized a little bit, but they're not that bad. And it looks like the headings follow a pretty good nesting structure, so that's also good. Let's take a look to see if any schema is on this page. So we do also have that web page schema. So it looks like this is likely being generated by the plugin automatically. There should be settings where you can change that, or you could just do it manually. And then we also have some breadcrumb schema here, which is pretty good because it looks like it shows the exact order of the category to the subcategory. And then it looks like there's an extra page in here. Let's take a look at that real quick. Okay, so there is another category page, but it doesn't appear to be in use. So this is something that we would want to get under control, make sure that the categories are properly listed and make sure that we're either using these pages or getting rid of them or no indexing them, whatever the case may be. And we definitely wouldn't want to include that in the schema. Another thing is that the breadcrumbs do not appear on the site. So that's something else you would typically want to do if you're going to have breadcrumb schema. You usually want to include the breadcrumbs here at the top just as a best practice. Let's take a look at their recipes section. This is a very great strategy for getting organic traffic to the site. People are always looking up recipes. They sell grills, so that's a great strategy here. I'm just going to go to one of these. So let's go to beef, and then let's take a look at Island Spice beef long ribs. So again, with the URL structure, it goes from recipes and then it goes to beef, which is really good. So typically we would just want this recipe to go to the Island Spice beef ribs, but it takes out beef. So it goes from recipe beef to recipe Island Spice ribs, which is typically not what you want. Just taking a look at this, it looks like the title could be optimized. There's no description. And the headings are a little odd too. I'm assuming it's because it's these large groups of text here, but these are being read as headings, which is typically what you don't want to do. You want a heading for each section. So you would just want to make these large text if possible, and then have your actual headings for the sections of the recipe. We'll also take a look at our schema to see if there's anything here, because when it comes to recipes, you want to mark those up. So let's take a look here. So again, we have this recipe marked up as a web page when it could be marked up as a recipe and show up in the rich results. We also have that breadcrumb schema here. Let's take a look at the rich results. So it's only detecting one valid item, and that's the breadcrumbs. So we would want to mark this up with recipe schema so that it shows as rich results for recipe. And that can be done by going to schema.org and just looking up the recipe type. And I'll show you exactly everything that should be included there. And you can go to the bottom here and see that it has information about the recipe, an image, the ingredients. You can add calories, fat content, and then you can add the prep time instructions. So it'll show as a rich result instead. Taking a look at the long-term trends here, we see that they have a good domain rating, a good amount of backlinks, and a good amount of organic keywords. Just taking a look at this past year, it looks like they've had a good upward trend of keywords, at least in the last few months. But those are keywords that are ranking pretty high, 11 through 100. So those are on the 5th, 6th, 7th page. If we look at the keywords that are in the 1st through 10 positions, it looks like they started declining pretty hard in February, March, which I've also seen for some other clients. We were typically able to recover that traffic. So it looks like these keywords haven't really recovered since then. I would have to look into it deeper to see what exactly could be causing that. Let's take a look at any broken backlinks. So they do have some broken backlinks here. Looks like they're pretty small. Here's some more substantial ones here. This article here, it looks like it's a broken backlink. So that's a pretty significant link. Looks like they have a few more here. A couple big ones, actually. Barbecue Bible, TechCrunch. So this is a really big backlink that they're missing out on because this page is broken. We would recommend redirecting that product to the closest category page as possible to preserve that link juice and that domain authority. Looking at Screaming Frog, looks like there's some redirects here, so just would want to make sure those are redirecting, or they're supposed to. It looks like they were 301, so that's good. Looks like there's some 4xx errors here, so just want to make sure to get those corrected. Also some server errors here. Some more external errors here. They don't look to be that serious, but just would want to make sure those aren't serious URLs that are ending in no response. I also have some more redirects here. Not a whole lot of issues with the URLs. There's one with underscores, multiple slashes, so we would want to get those corrected. Over 115 characters, so there's just one there. It's like there's some duplicate page titles where looks like these are mostly tag pages, but some of them do appear to be products, so we would want those to be unique to that product. Some are also the same as the H1, which depending on the page could be a missed opportunity. Some duplicate meta descriptions here. Some of them are a little long, so we just want to optimize those. Like there's a lot of pages missing at H1, but if they're just category pages or tag pages, it's not a big deal. The pages with multiple H1s, which is what we touched on earlier with the home page. So not a big deal, but just kind of a missed opportunity. It's like there's some images here that are a little larger, which is understandable. The ones that can be compressed, it's fine, but if not the biggest issue, especially since the site isn't that large. There's some pages here that are missing canonicals, but a lot of them appear to be pictures. So just would want to make sure there's no products there. We also have some canonicals that are non-indexable. So we want to make sure either these are indexed or not used for canonicals. Looks like there's some internal no follow links, but this looks like it's from a subdomain. So just would want to make sure those are supposed to be no follow, which typically you don't do for internal links. There's no structured data showing here. We saw there was no structured data. Structured data is not showing correctly. Otherwise, not too many technical issues. I'd have to analyze it more to get more information on the structured data, but otherwise it's a relatively small site, so not a ton of errors like we see with much larger sites. Let's take a look at their robots. So this looks good. It's just disallowing the admin page, and it also lists the sitemap, which is good. And taking a look at the sitemap, it looks like they have a lot of sitemaps here, which isn't necessarily bad, but it doesn't appear that the site is that large. So they may want to possibly take a look at these sitemap. This would also be something that they would want to look at in Search Console just to make sure all of these are being read correctly by Google. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up here. I think there's some good opportunities here for schema, broken backlinks. Those are some of the biggest issues they're facing. Technically, things look pretty good. I'd have to do a more in-depth audit, but otherwise, it's a good looking site. They're doing a great job.